So it was a Saturday afternoon, and my family and I decided we were going to go to my uncle's house, and we were going to watch a baseball game and go have dinner and hang out with my family. So I'm all excited. My sister, we're both excited. She's 2 years older than me, so we're close. And my cousin's going to be there. She's 6 months younger than me. And then my baby cousin, she was like 2 at the time. So we go over, we're hanging out, we're eating. And my grandma set up a table in the backyard of my uncle's house. And he has a really big backyard, and the garage is behind his house. And she set up the table behind the garage. So we're like way in the back, and my family's inside eating and watching the game. And so me, my sister, my 2 cousins are playing in the backyard. And she set up a little table with some arts and crafts. So we're reading, playing, coloring, and whatever. And my sister and my little cousin sit to the side. They're reading. My sister's reading to my little cousin. And I'm playing with my cousin who's 6 months younger than me. And so we're sitting there, and we see like a zip tie, or I don't know where it came from, but we find a zip tie, and so we decided that we would tie it around my stomach and like see how tight we could pull it. So we're sitting there, and we tie it around our stomach, and you know, a zip tie, if you keep pulling, it's not gonna get looser. And so my cousin was a bully, so I'm sitting there, and we're tying it on my stomach, and we're like pulling it loose, tighter, 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 and I'm like, let's get it tighter, I can't breathe. And so she just like pulled it like as tight as she could, and then I'm like, stay there, I'm like, okay, like I can't breathe, I'm losing like my breath. And so I'm like, go look for like the pair of scissors on the table like that we were playing with. So she goes, and she's like looking through all the stuff, and like she can't find them. And then I'm like, okay, like I'm like losing color, I can't breathe. So I call my sister, I'm like, you need to like find something on the table, like we need something to tear the zip tie off my stomach. Like it's like as tight as possible. And so she starts like looking through the table, and we don't know what happened to the scissors we were playing with. And so she starts like looking through the garage, but we're like, she was like 9 years old. I mean, we don't know what to look for in a garage to break a zip tie off my stomach. So I'm like, okay, like I really can't breathe. Like I'm losing like color in my face, my lips are turning purple. And so like you need to go inside and like call like my mom or my uncle or my dad. Or so my sister runs inside, and it's like seconds later I see my dad. He comes like sprinting down the steps, and there's steps, and he just like hops off the steps, and he's like sprinting like the fastest I've ever seen him run. And he starts like fidgeting through the table, and he's looking for scissors too, and he's going through the garage and looking for something to tear the zip tie. And he finally finds the scissors in the garage, but they're like little plastic scissors. We were like 7 years old, so that's not gonna like break like a plastic zip tie like that's tight as possible around my stomach. And so he's like fidgeting with the zip tie on my stomach, and nothing's working. And then like a couple seconds later, I just see my uncle and my grandpa and my mom, and they're like sprinting to the backyard, and my uncle's carrying like this huge butcher knife, like sprinting, like running as fast as he could. And so he comes over to where my dad and I were, and my dad grabs the knife from my uncle, and he puts it in between my stomach and the shirt, and like he finally tears the zip tie, and he's like fidgeting with it, and he like scratched my stomach, he tore my shirt. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like crying because like I can't breathe, like I'm just like sitting there. And so he finally tears the zip tie, and I just remember being able to breathe again and just like feeling all the color come back. And my cousin's like sitting over here like bawling because she just like almost killed me. I mean, I'm sitting there like I can't breathe. And so so we get the zip tie off and whatever, and so we all go inside, and my cousin gets like punished because we were at her house, so like she got locked in her room and she's crying and whatever. And so for the rest of the day we had to stay inside, and we didn't get to play anymore, and that was the worst day of my life.